Hi, this is an update to Background Designer. This is the information panel. As you can see, there is some file menus. This is going to be where you change the sky colors. There's 4 colors for the brush, as well as the power of each color. There's a clear mode and solid mode, which I'll show you in a second. This is the mixer between the original color of the brushes and the new colors that it swaps out the tones for. These are the tones that it looks for, and then it swaps to these colors on the left. This is the opacity for brushing width, and this is all to control the new color swatches. This is the output size, HD, 2x HD or 3x HD. It tells you the document size that it's going to generate here. This is the working area, and it automatically converts to this size without any loss, and you get better resolution from the brushes, a bigger size. Some debug information that can be used, or also used by myself to debug some things. This is the image previewer, which is a smaller version of this, and it's particularly useful when you're in wrap mode. So if you press W, you'd go into wrap mode where it will horizontally tile. This is the brush layer previewer window. So as you hover over different brushes, it's going to show up here, and as you hover over each layer, it's going to show up here, so you kind of know what's going on. This is the capture tool. So whatever you brush here, it will ignore the background, but basically you can capture an area and use that as a new brush. It will automatically save it as well. These are some toggles for random coloring, wrap mode, random rotation, flipping horizontally, randomly, random scale, and these are just another few factors, kind of preferences. These. This is your brushes, and these are your layers. These are all the categories for the brushes, and I think that pretty much covers it. So I'm just going to jump in and show you it in detail. So like I said, this is the menu. You can open a background file and basically go here and open that up, and it will load a little pretty scene that I did earlier. And you can undo through all the steps with Ctrl+Z. You see every step. Ctrl+Shift+Z is going to go back through. You can see everything that I've put down, all the different strokes. You can hold down and it will just redraw, or you can press enter and it will draw much quicker. Okay, so I'll do make a new document by reset, backspace. It basically clears everything. Here you can see the sky color top and the sky color bottom. You can store these by left clicking here and restore by right clicking. Okay, so you can store a few different tones, ones that you might like a nighttime one, maybe kind of dusk, and you just right click to recall these. You can overwrite any basically by making a new gradient, and just left click over any one and just erases, makes new ones. The same for these 4, so you can left click to store a certain color scheme like that. Let's see what a brush looks like. Let's go for a tree. So that's a tree with that color scheme. So I've stored it there. I'm just going to right click to recall that one, and you can see it looks like this. When you come over here, you can see a preview of the brush, and we can go ahead and make some adjustments. If you don't want to see the images here, you can just hide the layer by clicking there, and now you can just see the brush. You can use Control to unhide Alt to hide all layers, excluding the one that you've clicked on. So basically hide everything, and Control to bring them all back. So I can use that to my advantage to hide everything, so I can just work on this brush. Let's customize the light greens. Customize the red tones. Now they don't look red because if you look at the original, they're red there, but we're actually swapping towards these new colors. This is the swapper slider bar, the original colors that they were painted in. And you'll notice that I've painted deliberately in black, blue, red and green, and any addition to those colors such as red and green mix yellow, so that I get a mix. And you can see now that I can completely change those tones. So orange, you can see round about the middle there, I can change that to some grey tone. You see there's a bit of green in the base, but it's changing other things. Now I can always bring this up to sort of browny tone like that, and store that colour set. So there you go. I'm just going to Ctrl+Click to bring all the images back, and I can basically stick these down. Let's do a slightly smaller one, flip it, rotate it a bit, and I'm going to do that again. Just bring it over here, put like that, and it makes that tree slightly different. Now you can use the capture brush and just drag over the area. It's going to capture these, and we'll call them trees. And it's made a brand new brush here, as you can see when I hover over it. Same with all the other ones, we see the preview at the bottom right of what that brush looks like. I'm going to use backspace to clear everything, and I can start to plot these down and flip using X and plot them down. Okay, now they're using a mix between the original color, which is now these new colors, and if I swap over to here, we're getting slightly different tones because the original colors are no longer red, green and blue. They're kind of well, the colors that you see here, but it's trying to detect black, blue, red and green tones to make new ones. So if I right click here and move this over to the right, you can see we're getting a bit of a different look to each of these. But we can customize any look that we want by changing these tones. So I'll go ahead and make them like a kind of bluish tone like this. And I can play with the slider, so original tones and a little bit of that. So as I plot these down, they all look the same, but I can use a little bit of the random color, and that will add a slight tint. It's very subtle, but there's a slight tint in there just to help make a little bit of variation. Okay, and the more I slide to the right, it'll be a little bit stronger. The more I'm to the left, it will kind of stick to the original tones, so it's also affected by this. Okay, I'm going to turn on the random flip X and random scale, and you'll see now that when I draw, I'm getting slightly different scales, and also it's flipping horizontally. A quick way to draw like this is to hold down Shift, and as you draw it, basically it always draws something. Now it's quite fast, so you have to be quite fast with it. I'm just going to make a little cluster of trees like that there. And make these quite small. I can make a nice little cluster of trees and then maybe just add a few in front. Okay, quite like the look of these ones with just a little bit of color change. So I can do a little bit of that. Let's say I want a kind of shadow from that. I'm just going to press Y to flip vertically and go to the layer below, and then Ctrl+Click this so that they all get the color blue to make sure I replace all the colors. And now I can kind of just undo that make sure I've got random color off, and I can kind of make little shadows for each of these. But like that. Now I'm going to hide this layer just so that I can grab the shadow like so. I've got the whole shadow as one image now, and I can basically undo those strokes. Don't need those anymore. So I've got one big brush that does it. Let's bring back that layer, back to the shadow, and now I can press 5 or 3 to get a bit of a softer shadow there. And there you go. It's not exactly in line in some places, but you get the idea. Maybe it's just a little rotation or a scale thing. Yeah, scale it to 1. And using Control and R will rotate, so it's a bit better. There we go. To make sure the flip X is off and random scale is off. I'll work on these. And there you go, there's a little group of trees, so I could go ahead and then grab that. And I'll call this tree group. And I'll just backspace to remove everything. Swap this for the original tones, and now you can see I've got a tree group. I can get rid of the shadow by right clicking and say yes to get rid of it. The trees, maybe I want to keep those, don't know, but now I've got a trees group. I can make slight variations of these and make loads of little trees. This, I can also do the random flip X and some random color and get loads of trees like that. Make these even smaller. If I use Shift, I can drag out loads of trees with the little shadows intact, and yeah, that kind of makes up a little tree land sort of thing there. Use space and I can change the look of the background. Tab and I can change the colors as long as this is switched over like that. I can get slightly different tones kind of at random, and let's go for a kind of winter look and get even more trees like that. I can keep grabbing and grabbing until I've got like even more. So I'll call this like tree land. And now I've got a giant cluster of trees. Let's go back to the original colors, backspace to clear everything. And now I've got like even more trees. It doesn't look like trees anymore, but it's made a kind of nice texture. And I can make an interesting looking base texture. Scale this up, bring the opacity down, and yeah, it's making an interesting kind of texture here. Now I can press F3 to change any colors that I've put down already and start pressing tab. Let's just press F3 again. And just make sure we go to new colors to really see this. So F3, tab. And I'm going to make sure this says random. So first tip, the first press is going to say local, second press is going to say document, and the third press will say random. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now it's not much of a ground. Maybe I want to change these colors to see exactly, you know, how it's all going to look. I can press B to hide that brush, so I can really just see the document. You can see whatever I change it to, it's going to affect all that. I press W. I basically made it into a tileable, horizontal tileable area. Just press B to bring the brush back, and you know, I can put in even more little trees like that. 0 to get full opacity, and I can, you know, make this little kind of tree mound. It's kind of purple hill. Let's change this to green. You see everything's affected like that. Now if I press F4, I can commit all those colors and basically press F3 again to come out of that mode. So now, let's just make sure I press F3. Now if I press tab, it's not affecting everything. And now I can make brand new colors. Just make all these dark, and yeah, we've got these green trees we can add. Now we're just really changing this color. You can also do a little bit of random color here. Maybe it's a bit too strong, so I'll just tone this down a bit to that point. And yeah, we get a little bit of variation there. I made this kind of tree hill. Now you can right click and drag to sort of go to a different section, just like that. Start to populate this area. Remember, things get bigger as they come closer, so you might want to take that into effect to make this hill look like it's sloped. All you have to do is just make things bigger as they come towards you. Right, and it can get to the point where I can actually go to my trees again and bring in some trees in the foreground, like that, and then eventually a couple of trees here, and back to our trees again, back to the original one, bring in some new colors. Let's recall this one, or in fact recall that one, and make it even bigger. Let's scroll that right up. Now let's bring it into the foreground a bit, like that. Now it did do a random color there, so I'm just going to turn that off. And now, yeah, now I can have a look around. I'm going to mouse, middle mouse to reset, and B to turn the brush off, and P to turn on parallax, and you can see a nice parallax effect there. Let's say I want to move this tree here into a higher layer, so I'm going to undo. And there's where I drew that layer. I'm going to go to higher layer and do Ctrl+Alt+Z to bring that back, and then Ctrl+Shift+C to bring that back as normal. Now this is in the parallax layer, like that. I'm going to do that again, and a few of these ones I'm going to bring much closer. So let's see, there's where most of them are. Let's go to layer 13, Ctrl+Alt+Z. And then Ctrl+Shift+Z, and then I'm going to go to this sun layer and Ctrl+Alt+Z, and then go to this layer, Ctrl+Alt+Z. Now I've got even more parallax, and it's just really for effect, just to get a feeling of it being three-dimensional. Now you can also press Shift and P to increase the parallax amount, and really have that move quite a lot to see what a game might look like with that effect on. Spacebar is going to change the sky, and you get a sky that you like. Now I'm just going to press P to turn the parallax back off, middle mouse button to reset it, and I'm going to go to a lower layer and put in a little bit of fog in the sky just to help make a nice tone. So I press B to see the brush. So I've got the fog on, and 0 to see that. So B again. Let's see, why am I not seeing that? Yeah, it's way back there. So your brush is actually affected by the layer. So I'm just going to move to layer 23. Something that I could probably change, to be honest. You know, to see the brush, no matter what layer it's on. So there's some white there. I'm just going to go back behind this and add, maybe make all these yellow. So I'm just going to go to yellow and Ctrl+Click, and then I can kind of add in this brighter looking sky here, and then darken this bit to really see it. I'm just going to press 2 for a bit of opacity, random flip, random scale, random rotation, and then use Shift and just kind of draw, going across the way like that. And then P to turn on that parallax effect, and I can really see things move around. change the ground maybe to be a little bit more like the color there. And Shift and P to increase the parallax effect. And it's starting to look pretty cool. So if I press enter, it's going to redraw everything, and really quickly. You can easily make up your own brushes from this. So I'll just do backspace to clear everything. And let's say I want to make up an interesting brush. So I've got this circle here. I'm going to press P to turn the parallax off, and 0. It's weird. It's weird why it's kind of offset like that. It's an interesting bug. Oh, okay. Just reset itself. Maybe it's something to do with the new features here. But let's just turn all these off, and let's say I want to make my own brush. So I'm going to make all these red and do some little dots like this, and let's make all the colors green. So Ctrl+Click on any one, all of them will get that color. And then blue, Ctrl+Click. And the reason I'm using this red, green and blue and black is because you can change these to new colors later. So as you can see, I've done that. They might not be perfect red, green and blue, but we'll see what we can do with them. So I've grabbed them, and I'll call this like calibrate, right? Backspace to clear everything, and you can see everything looks a bit dark. You see if I go to the new colors, everything's been replaced with black, but I can replace the black tones that I made with red, the blue tones that I made with green, the red tones that I made with blue, and the green tones that I made with yellow. And I've got brand new colors here. I'm just holding down Shift and R to get this effect. And I get a kind of rotation from Shift and R, and it goes a little bit faster, but as I draw holding down Shift, I get this kind of cool effect. It's pretty nice. We can take away tones like this. So when we're in clear mode, we basically remove these. If it's solid, it's a little bit of a different thing that it does. It keeps them, but we can remove them and end up with a base tone, this red tone. So these are kind of like a way of going from that to the base tone. And we get a bit of a mix now. If you press F1, you'll get a mix of these. And we go to clear mode, we can make them disappear, and we get all these different tones. I'm just going to right click to bring some of these ones in. Right click to see these, and right click to see these. Okay, I can turn on the random rotation, random flip, random color, and start just drawing with these, and I get loads of different polka dots. Let's bring these back up. So F2 will reset these. And you can see I can get random colors, I can press tab as well to get even more variation. And get these kind of polka dots. But I can use this to make even more brushes. Go back to the original tones like that. It's a good idea to go back to the red, green, blue type approach when you're making a custom brush, so that you have control over the final colors later. So something like that is going to give me a lot of control. Let's say I just want to control the black tones. I'll take all these away, switch to new tones, and make sure I'm in clear mode. It doesn't work with black actually, it only works with the single channels, because the black base tone is kind of like always there. That's controlled, these are controlled individually. So I could say let's go with yellow, which is a mix of green and red, and pop some of these in. Now they're still getting a custom color, so I'm going to turn off the random color and pop some of these in. And a mix between red and blue, it's going to give me these ones. And a mix between red and blue, sorry, is going to be blue and green is going to give me this color roughly. So I'll click a few of these down. And if I grab this as a brush, let's call this test 1. And now as I switch to new colors and press tab, let's just do tab 3 times to get the random colors. But basically I can change all of these tones to whatever. So blue, and green, and maybe yellow. And I bring back the base tones as well. I can do like a dark green. So now I've got something I can make some other kind of effects with. So I'm going to backspace that, change this to a light green. Let's do a few things here. Let's change the background. Yeah, let's go for something like that. And now I can just use Shift to draw loads of these. I'm going to press 5 to go half opacity, and can kind of make these little bushes. Do a little bit of random color and add some little highlight. Like that. Turn off the random color. Let's bring this down a bit like so. So you see with random color and this set quite low, it doesn't do as much randomness to it. And you can keep grabbing these until you run out of brushes. There's plenty of room for brushes, so I'll call this scatter. There's loads of brush space. There's all of these, and then there's all like these user categories as well. You can easily clear the brushes by right-clicking, or you can clear all of them by doing clear custom files. This top one is going to clear all your brushes forever, basically, and remove them from your drive. But now we've got this, you can do random color or not. Press tab, that will give you some random color as well. And holding then Shift, you can draw loads of them. Make a whole new kind of look to things. Right click to bring in some new tones that you saved earlier, or make completely new tones from everything. Let's bring these to new. Ctrl+Click so they all get the same, and then make some adjustments. Okay, let's make them like a fluffy clouds and make a few adjustments to each tone. And then F1 is going to give us a random amount there and some opacity. We can go ahead and make some clouds. So F1 to change those up a bit. And I can always make some of these a bit lighter. Let's do some random scale and random rotation. You see that really kind of mixes it all up. Let's bring this away by undoing. And it's going to turn off the random rotation and add a few more like that. Ctrl+Click and scale up with the mouse wheel. And I can really get a nice kind of fluffy effect from that. And we can just change our sky to match. You can also color pick the sky colors. Get a little bit of mix there. And remember to use your opacity to get even fluffier. And we made a kind of tileable fluffy sky. Backspace to clear everything. Make this a bit brighter there and a bit darker there. middle mouse button to reset the view, and now I can really make these kind of small and maybe less opacity, and really kind of dot these down. Make fluffy clouds. And you got it. Now I can grab that and call it Cloud Maker. And backspace to reset everything, make this small, and play around with the rotation. Let's really put the opacity way down because this is all quite bright now. Let's play around with these tones a bit as well. Let's go for the new tones and bring this all the way down. And now I'm making quite interesting looking clouds. So you can keep going forever with this and just layering things up. We can flip rings around, rotate, and before you know it, you get a really interesting looking sky. So this is Background Designer. It's free, not free, it's $1 next to free, and it's free updates forever. You can pay what you want if you want more interesting stuff to happen. It always helps to pay the developer, and it helps me continue happily working on this. But so far it's been quite good fun and things are working out well with it. You can save these images out and you get this tileable sky that you can use in your games. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to grab this, it's on itch, and if I jump to browser here and just go to Background Designer itch, this is the address for it, pixelburner.itch.io/background designer, and yeah, there's loads of cool stuff here. So thanks for watching this long, intense video. I hope you enjoy using this tool, and I'd love to see what you make. Feel free to join the Discord via this link here. Check out the YouTube video where I'll upload this one. There's tons of older videos as well, how I made some things, and there's also a Trello roadmap of things that I've been working on and things still to do. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye for now.